The Phantom Defender. The vast emptiness of space stretched before Lieutenant Commander Maya Reeves as she stood on the observation deck of the UES Dauntless. Through the reinforced glass, she watched as the remaining ships of humanity's fleet maneuvered into defensive positions around Proxima Station, Earth's last major outpost and humanity's final stand against the relentless Kryvax dominion. "Commander Reeves, Admiral Taggart requests your presence on the bridge," came the voice of Ensign Chen through her comm unit. Maya exhaled slowly, her breath briefly fogging the glass. "On my way." The corridors of the Dauntless were packed with personnel rushing to battle stations. 3 years of war against the Kryvax had whittled humanity's once proud armada down to a mere 17 vessels. Today, intelligence indicated they would face at least 30 Kryvax warships, a suicide mission by any standard. When Maya reached the bridge, Admiral Helena Taggart stood hunched over the tactical display, her weathered face illuminated by the holographic projection of their defensive formation. "Commander," Taggart acknowledged without looking up, "our long-range sensors have detected the Kryvax fleet. ETA 47 minutes. Have they deployed their quantum disruptors?" Maya asked, referring to the devastating weapons that had torn through Earth's defenses during the initial invasion. "Not yet, but it's only a matter of time." Taggart straightened her back with visible effort. At 63, the Admiral had postponed retirement to lead humanity's resistance. "I need you to coordinate our fighter squadrons. We'll use the asteroid field to our advantage." "Guerrilla tactics." Maya nodded grimly. "With respect, Admiral, even with optimal conditions, we're outnumbered almost 2-1. "I'm aware, Commander." Taggart's eyes hardened. "But we either make our stand here, or Proxima falls. And with it, the last 20 million humans not under Kryvax control." The tactical officer's voice cut through their conversation. "Admiral, incoming slip space ruptures. Multiple signatures. Kryvax configuration." "They're early," Taggart muttered. "Battle stations. All ships. Defensive formation Delta." The bridge erupted into organized chaos as officers rushed to their stations. Maya hurried to the fighter command console and opened a channel to the squadron leaders. "Red leader, blue leader, gold leader, deploy and maintain position behind the asteroid cluster at coordinates 227 Mark IV. Wait for my signal to engage." The acknowledgments came in rapid succession as the fighter squadrons launched from their carriers. On the main view screen, the first Kryvax vessels emerged from slip space, sleek, biomechanical ships with hulls that resembled polished obsidian, adorned with vein-like energy conduits pulsing with eerie red light. 32 Kryvax vessels detected, reported the sensor officer, including 3 dreadnoughts. Taggart's jaw tightened. "More than expected. Signal all ships, weapons free. Engage at will." The human fleet opened fire, lances of blue plasma streaking across space toward the Kryvax vessels. The alien ships responded with devastating salvos of their own, crimson energy beams that sliced through the vacuum with terrifying precision. 2 human frigates exploded within the first minute of engagement. "We've lost the Resolute and the Valkyrie," Maya reported, her voice steady despite the knot forming in her stomach. Taggart nodded grimly. "Order the fighters to commence attack run on the Kryvax support vessels." Maya relayed the command, watching as the tiny fighter craft darted out from behind the asteroids, unleashing volleys of missiles toward the enemy fleet. Several struck their targets, causing minimal damage to the larger Kryvax vessels. "They're deploying their quantum disruptors," shouted the tactical officer. The distinctive energy signatures appeared on the tactical display, swirling vortices of destructive power that could tear apart molecular bonds within seconds. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," Taggart ordered. The Dauntless shuddered as its engines pushed to maximum thrust, barely avoiding the deadly energy field. 2 more human vessels weren't as fortunate. The destroyer Wellington and the cruiser Intrepid disappeared in blinding flashes as their hulls disintegrated. "Admiral, we can't sustain these losses," Maya said, her eyes fixed on the tactical display where the human fleet was rapidly diminishing. "We hold the line, Commander," Taggart replied, her voice like steel. "For those 20 million souls behind us." The battle continued, with humanity's defenses crumbling under the Kryvax onslaught. After 15 minutes of fierce combat, only 7 human vessels remained operational, including the Dauntless. "Admiral," the communications officer called out, "we're detecting an unknown signal. It's not Kryvax, and it's not one of ours." Taggart frowned. "Source: unknown, Nam. It just appeared on our..." The officer paused, eyes widening. "New contact. Slip space ruptured directly between our fleet and the Kryvax." The view screen shifted to show a massive tear in spacetime, a swirling vortex of blue-white energy. From within this anomaly emerged a ship unlike anything Maya had ever seen, a vessel of impossible design, its hull shifting between states of matter like liquid metal frozen in time. It was massive, easily dwarfing the Dauntless, yet it moved with the agility of a fighter craft. "What the hell is that?" Taggart whispered. Before anyone could respond, the mysterious vessel opened fire on the Kryvax fleet, not with conventional weapons, but with arcs of what appeared to be concentrated gravitational distortions. Where these strikes landed, Kryvax ships simply ceased to exist, their matter compressed to infinitesimal points before vanishing entirely. "Are you seeing this?" Maya breathed, watching as the unknown ship systematically decimated the Kryvax fleet. The Kryvax responded with concentrated fire, their quantum disruptors targeting the interloper. But their attacks seemed to pass through the mysterious vessel without effect, as if it existed partially in another dimension. Within minutes, the Kryvax fleet was reduced to scattered debris and retreating vessels. The mysterious ship hung motionless in space, its enigmatic form reflecting starlight in ways that defied conventional physics. "Open a channel," Taggart ordered. The communications officer worked his console. "Channel open, Admiral." Taggart straightened her uniform. "Unknown vessel, this is Admiral Helena Taggart of the United Earth ship Dauntless. We thank you for your assistance. Please identify yourself." Silence stretched across the bridge as they awaited a response. Then, a transmission appeared, not audio or video, but a stream of data flooding into their systems. "It's accessing our database," the communications officer exclaimed. "Shut it down," Taggart ordered. "I can't. It's bypassing all our security protocols." Maya leaned over the officer's shoulder, watching the data stream. "Wait, it's not attacking our systems. It's sending us information." The main view screen flickered and displayed a star chart, a region of space beyond the outer colonies, with a specific set of coordinates highlighted. "What is this?" Taggart demanded. "A trap." Maya studied the chart. "These coordinates, they're in unclaimed space, approximately 3 light-years beyond the Perseus arm." Another data packet appeared on the screen, sensor readings that showed massive energy signatures at those coordinates, along with what appeared to be Kryvax fleet movements. "It's showing us something the Kryvax don't want us to find," Maya realized. The mysterious ship began to move, accelerating toward the edge of the system. Before it vanished into another slip space rupture, a final message appeared on their screens. "The true enigmatic follow if you seek salvation." As quickly as it had appeared, the vessel was gone, leaving the stunned human fleet amidst the wreckage of what should have been their last stand. Taggart turned to Maya, her expression unreadable. "Assemble a team. Commander, take our fastest vessel. I want to know what's at those coordinates." "And the Kryvax, Admiral." Taggart gestured to the debris field around them. "They've retreated for now. Whatever that ship was, it bought us time. Time we can't afford to waste." 48 hours later, Maya stood on the bridge of the UES Hermes, a stealth reconnaissance vessel, as it dropped out of slip space at the mysterious coordinates. Beside her stood Dr. Eli Novak, Earth's leading genotechnologist, and Captain James Chen, formerly of the now-destroyed Wellington. "Sensors online," reported Lieutenant Park from the operations console, beginning full-spectrum scan of the area. Maya felt a tension headache building behind her eyes. She hadn't slept properly since the battle, her mind replaying the image of that impossible ship destroying the Kravex fleet. "I've analyzed the data from the mystery vessel," Dr. Novak said, adjusting his glasses. "The technology is, well, advanced doesn't begin to cover it. The gravitational weapons it deployed operate on principles we've only theorized. And its hull composition." "Doctor," Maya interrupted gently, "the short version, please." Novak nodded. "Right, short version. Whatever built that ship is centuries ahead of us technologically, possibly millennia. And definitely not Kravex. So we have a third player in this war," Captain Chen remarked. "Question is, are they really on our side?" "Commander," Lieutenant Park called out, "I'm detecting something massive ahead, hidden behind the gas giant's magnetic field." "On screen," Maya ordered. The view screen activated to show a gas giant with swirling storms of amber and crimson. As the Hermes maneuvered around its massive bulk, what lay beyond came into view, and the bridge fell silent in collective shock. A structure floated in space, if structure was even the right word. It resembled a massive gyroscope composed of two concentric rings, each several kilometers in diameter, rotating around a central sphere of what appeared to be pure energy. Around this construct swarmed dozens of Kravex vessels, seemingly attempting to breach its defenses. "What is that thing?" Chen whispered. Dr. Novak was already analyzing the sensor data. "It's generating quantum fields similar to Kravex technology, but far more sophisticated. If I had to guess, it's some kind of gateway." "A gateway to where?" Maya asked. "Unknown, but the energy readings are off the charts." As they watched, a squadron of Kravex fighters managed to penetrate the structure's defensive perimeter. Immediately, the entire construct pulsed with energy, and several smaller objects detached from its outer ring, autonomous defense platforms that quickly intercepted and destroyed the intruders. "They're trying to capture it," Chen observed, "not destroy it." "Commander," Lieutenant Park interrupted, "I'm detecting a transmission." "Directed at us." "Source." "The structure itself." Maya exchanged glances with Chen. "Put it through." The bridge speakers crackled with static before a synthesized voice emerged, neither male nor female, neither human nor alien, but somehow familiar. "Humans of Earth, you have followed our guide. The Kravex seek what lies beyond the gate. If they succeed, all sentient life in this galaxy will be erased. The precursors built this gateway as both passage and prison. What waits beyond cannot be allowed to escape." Maya's heart raced. "Who are you? What's on the other side of that gateway?" "We are what remains of those who came before. The Kravex are merely servants of a greater darkness, a darkness that has consumed countless civilizations. They believe they control the gate, but they are being controlled. They are being led." "Led by what?" Dr. Novak asked. "By the Void Collective, a parasitic consciousness that devours minds and civilizations. The Kravex invasion of Earth was not conquest, but preparation. They terraform worlds not for habitation, but to create suitable environments for their masters." Maya felt cold dread settling in her stomach. "And that ship that helped us? A sentinel left behind to protect the gateway. It recognized in humans the potential to resist the void. It brought you here because time grows short. The Kravex are close to breaching the final defenses." "Why us?" Chen demanded. "We're barely holding our own against the Kravex. How are we supposed to stop something even they serve?" The mysterious voice paused before responding. "Because humans possess something the void cannot comprehend: unpredictability. Your species thinks in ways that defy logical patterns. This is your strength." Maya watched the Kravex ships swarming around the gateway, suddenly understanding the true scale of the threat. "What do you need us to do?" "The gateway must be destroyed. But the technology to do so was lost eons ago. However, there may be another way. Within the central sphere lies the control mechanism. If recalibrated, it could collapse the gateway from within. But this would require direct interface with the system. You're asking us to send someone inside that thing? Chen asked incredulously. Yes, but not any human. We require one specific mind, one whose neural patterns match the gateway's access protocols. A holographic image appeared on the view screen, a DNA sequence alongside a brain scan. Maya recognized it immediately. That's my DNA, she said, stunned. My neural pattern. Yes, Maya Reeves, the voice confirmed. You carry within you genetic markers of those who built the gateway. In your species terms, you are a descendant of the precursors who came to Earth millennia ago. The bridge fell silent as Maya processed this revelation. Her entire identity, her understanding of herself, shifted beneath her feet like sand. If I do this, she finally said, what happens to me? Unknown. No organic being has interfaced with the gateway since its creation. Maya looked at the images of the Kryvax ships surrounding the structure, then back at her companions. Captain Chen's expression was grim, while Dr. Novak looked both terrified and fascinated. Commander, Chen said quietly, this isn't your burden to bear alone. Maya straightened her shoulders. If what this entity says is true, then we're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for everything. She turned back to the view screen. How do I get inside without the Kryvax stopping me? The Sentinel will return. It will create a path. As if summoned by these words, a slip space rupture opened near the Hermes, and the mysterious warship emerged once more. It immediately engaged the Kryvax vessels, drawing their attention away from both the gateway and the human ship. I guess that's my cue, Maya said, trying to keep her voice steady. Dr. Novak, I'll need whatever data we have on the gateway structure. Captain Chen, please inform Admiral Taggart of our situation. As her companions moved to carry out her orders, Maya took one last look at the view screen, at the impossible Sentinel ship battling the Kryvax, at the enigmatic gateway that held back some unimaginable horror, and at the stars beyond. Whatever came next, humanity would never be the same. The alliance beyond time. Maya Reeves felt strangely calm as she prepared to board the shuttle that would take her to the gateway. The Hermes had stationed itself behind one of the gas giant's moons, hidden from Kryvax sensors, while the mysterious Sentinel ship continued its assault on the alien fleet. The EVA suit has been modified with the communication interface Dr. Novak designed, Lieutenant Park explained, helping Maya into the specialized equipment. It should allow you to establish a preliminary connection with the gateway systems. Should. Maya raised an eyebrow. Park managed a weak smile. Best case scenario, Commander. Captain Chen approached, carrying a neural transmitter, a small device that would attach to Maya's temple. This will broadcast your status back to the Hermes. If anything goes wrong, we'll know immediately. And do what exactly? Maya asked. When Chen didn't answer, she nodded. That's what I thought. Dr. Novak joined them, his tablet displaying complex equations and diagrams. Commander, based on the data we've received, I believe the gateway operates on a quantum entanglement principle. If you successfully interface with it, you should be able to access its control systems through thought alone. And if I can't? Novak hesitated. Then the connection might reverse. Instead of you controlling it, it might attempt to control you. Maya absorbed this information with a grim nod. Wonderful. The shuttle bay's intercom crackled to life with Lieutenant Park's voice. Commander, the Sentinel ship has created a breach in the Kryvax formation. We have a narrow window to approach the gateway. That's my cue. Maya finished sealing her suit and grabbed the specialized helmet. If I don't make it back, save it for your memoirs, Commander. Chen interrupted. Just come back. Maya managed a smile before boarding the shuttle. As the bay doors opened to the vastness of space, she took one last look at her companions before the shuttle launched toward the distant gateway. The journey across open space was tense but uneventful. Through the viewport, Maya could see the Sentinel ship engaging multiple Kryvax vessels, its impossible weapons tearing through alien hulls with surgical precision. The gateway loomed larger as the shuttle approached, a magnificent and terrifying construct that dwarfed everything around it. Approaching the outer ring, Maya reported back to the Herms. "The Sentinel ship has cleared a path as promised." "We see it," came Chen's voice through the comm. "Be advised, Commander, the Kryvax are regrouping. Whatever you're going to do it fast." The shuttle navigated through debris from destroyed Kryvax vessels, making its way toward a section of the outer ring that appeared to house a docking mechanism. As they drew closer, the structure responded, panels shifting to create an opening just large enough for the shuttle to enter. "It's inviting us in," Maya murmured. The shuttle passed through the opening, entering a cavernous chamber bathed in blue-white light. Gravity established itself immediately, allowing Maya to exit the shuttle without activation of her magnetic boots. "I'm inside," she reported. "The atmosphere appears breathable according to my suit sensors, but I'm keeping my helmet on for now." The chamber's walls were covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift and flow like liquid. As Maya approached one of these walls, the patterns responded to her presence, flowing toward her hand as if drawn by her proximity. "Fascinating," Dr. Novik's voice came through her comm. "The structure appears to be recognizing you." Maya moved deeper into the gateway, following corridors that opened before her and closed behind her, as if the entire structure was guiding her path. Eventually, she emerged into a vast central chamber dominated by a sphere of swirling energy, the gateway's core. "I've reached the central chamber," she reported. "The core it's unlike anything I've ever seen. It's as if space itself is folded here, compressed into a single point." "Commander," Novik responded, his voice tense with excitement. "The Sentinel ship is transmitting new data. It suggests you need to establish physical contact with the interface terminal. There should be a control console somewhere in the chamber." Maya scanned the room and spotted a raised platform extending toward the energy sphere. On it sat a simple pedestal with a depression shaped remarkably like a human hand. "Found it," she confirmed, approaching cautiously. As she stood before the console, doubt crept into her mind. She was about to connect her consciousness to an alien device built by beings who had apparently visited Earth millennia ago, possibly altering human DNA. Her DNA in the process. "Commander," Chen's voice broke through her thoughts. "Kryvax reinforcements have arrived. The Sentinel ship is outnumbered. Whatever you're going to do." "I know," Maya interrupted. "Do it now." Taking a deep breath, she removed her glove and placed her bare hand on the console. The universe exploded in her mind. Information flooded her consciousness. Histories of civilizations long extinct, star maps of galaxies beyond the Milky Way, and knowledge of technologies beyond human comprehension. Through the chaos of information, Maya struggled to maintain her sense of self. "Commander Reeves, do you copy?" Chen's voice seemed to come from a great distance. I'm here," Maya managed, her voice strained. "The gateway. It's showing me everything. Its purpose, its history. I can see it all." The gateway had indeed been built by the precursors, an ancient species that had seeded life throughout the galaxy, including early humans. They had created the gateway as both a means of intergalactic travel and as a prison for the Void Collective. An entity they had encountered in another galaxy, a parasitic consciousness that consumed minds and civilizations. "The Void," Maya gasped. "It's not on the other side of the gateway. It is the gateway. The precursors didn't build a door. They built a cage. And the Kryvax are trying to free it. Can you shut it down?" Novik asked urgently. Maya's mind raced through the gateway's systems, searching for control mechanisms. Not alone. The system requires multiple connections. A failsafe. The precursors never intended for one mind to control it. A new presence touched her consciousness, familiar, yet alien. Through her neural connection, Maya sensed the Sentinel ship approaching the gateway, damaged but still functional after its battle with the Kryvax fleet. "The Sentinel," she whispered. "It's not just a ship, it's alive." Through her connection with the gateway, Maya could now perceive the truth. The Sentinel ship wasn't merely a construct left behind to guard the gateway. It was a vessel piloted by the preserved consciousness of precursors who had sacrificed themselves to maintain the eternal vigil. "They've been watching for millennia," Maya said, awe in her voice, "waiting for someone who could help them end this threat forever." The Sentinel ship approached the gateway, its damaged hull reconfiguring as it moved. It docked with the outer ring, establishing its own connection to the gateway systems. Immediately, Maya felt the presence of others in the neural network, ancient, weary minds that had maintained their vigil for countless generations. "Descendants," came a chorus of voices in her mind. "We have waited so long." "You know who I am?" Maya asked. "We recognize the genetic markers we left within your ancestral line. Your species was still primitive when we departed Earth, but we saw potential, a resistance to the void's influence that few other species possessed. Why didn't you just destroy the gateway yourselves?" Sadness permeated their response. "We tried, but the void adapted, integrated itself with the gateway's systems. Destroying it physically would only release it. It must be collapsed from within. A paradoxical destruction that requires both creator and destroyer perspectives. We are too similar to its original architects. Our attempts to reconfigure it failed. We need a mind that thinks differently. A human mind," Maya realized. "Yes, specifically your mind, carrying our genetic legacy but shaped by human experience and thought patterns." Outside, the Kryvax fleet had regrouped and was launching a massive assault on both the gateway and the Sentinel ship. The structure shuddered under their attacks. "The containment fields are failing," the precursors warned. "We must act now." Maya focused on the gateway's core, exploring its systems with the precursors' guidance. Together, they began the complex process of recalibrating the gateway's dimensional anchors, not to destroy it, but to invert it, collapsing the structure into itself along with the void entity it contained. "Commander," Chen's voice broke through. "The Kryvax have detected the Herms. We're under attack." "Hold on," Maya urged. "We're almost there." The recalibration was working. The gateway's energy core began to pulse with increasing frequency, its brilliant blue-white light taking on a purple hue. The void entity, sensing its impending doom, fought back. Tendrils of darkness spreading through the gateway's systems, attempting to corrupt the recalibration process. "It's resisting," Maya gasped, feeling the void's alien consciousness pushing against her mind. "I can't." "You must," the precursors urged. "Focus on what you fight for." Maya summoned images of Earth, of humanity's struggles and triumphs, of Admiral Taggart and her crew aboard the Dauntless, of Captain Chen and the team on the Herms. She thought of the 20 million humans at Proxima Station, unaware that their fate was being decided in this distant corner of space. With renewed determination, she pushed back against the void's influence and completed the recalibration sequence. "It's done," she announced. "The gateway is beginning to collapse. You must evacuate immediately," the precursors warned. "The implosion will consume everything within the structure." Maya disconnected from the console, her mind reeling as she returned fully to her physical body. The chamber around her was transforming, walls shifting, energy arcs dancing across surfaces, and the core pulsating with intensifying light. She ran for the shuttle, navigating corridors that were now breaking apart and reconfiguring themselves. Behind her, the darkness of the void entity coalesced, pursuing her with malevolent intent. The very air seemed to thicken with its presence. "Commander, your vitals are spiking," Dr. Novik's concerned voice came through her comm. "What's happening?" "It's following me," Maya gasped, sprinting toward the docking bay where her shuttle waited. "The void, it knows what we've done." She reached the shuttle and threw herself inside, initiating the launch sequence with trembling hands. As the engines fired, the docking bay began to disintegrate around her, space and matter folding in impossible ways. The shuttle rocketed out of the gateway structure just as the collapse accelerated. Behind her, the magnificent rings of the gateway were twisting inward, being drawn into the central sphere, which now pulsed with blinding intensity. "I'm clear," Maya reported. "But the Kryvax fleet, they're still attacking the Sentinel ship." Indeed, despite the gateway's imminent collapse, the Kryvax vessels continued their assault on the damaged Sentinel. Through her lingering neural connection, Maya could sense the ancient precursors preparing for one final act. "No," she whispered. "Don't do this." "It is necessary," came their collective response in her mind. "Our watch ends today. Yours begins." The Sentinel ship disengaged from the gateway and positioned itself between the collapsing structure and the Kryvax fleet. Then, channeling the dimensional energies spilling from the gateway, it initiated what could only be described as a controlled explosion, a burst of gravitational distortion that engulfed the entire Kryvax armada. When the light faded, both the Sentinel ship and the Kryvax fleet were gone. Only the imploding gateway remained, folding in upon itself until, with a final pulse of energy, it vanished, leaving nothing but empty space where the massive structure had once stood. "Commander," Chen's voice broke the silence. "Sensors confirm. It's gone. All of it. The gateway, the Kryvax ships, the Sentinel. Everything." Maya stared at the empty space, tears streaming down her face. They sacrificed themselves. They'd been guarding that prison for thousands of years, and in the end, they chose to end their watch, Novak said softly, "so we could continue ours." 3 months later, Maya stood once again on the observation deck of the UES Dauntless, watching as Earth grew larger in the viewport. The Kryvax threat had mysteriously withdrawn following the destruction of their fleet at the gateway. Intelligence suggested their remaining forces were in disarray, their hive-mind leadership structure apparently severed by some unknown factor. Admiral Taggart joined her at the viewport, her uniform freshly pressed for their return to Earth. "The Council is eager to debrief you personally, Commander." "What exactly am I supposed to tell them?" Maya asked. "That an ancient alien consciousness was manipulating the Kryvax. That I'm apparently descended from precursor aliens who visited Earth millennia ago. That the only reason humanity survived is because those same aliens sacrificed themselves." Taggart smiled slightly. "The truth, Commander. As unbelievable as it sounds." Maya nodded, her gaze returning to Earth. "Do you think there are more of them out there? More Sentinels, more gateways?" "If there are," Taggart replied, "I suspect they'll find us when the time is right. The precursors clearly believed in humanity's potential. Perhaps it's time we did too." As the Dauntless approached Earth orbit, Maya felt a flicker of connection, a ghost of the neural link she had shared with the gateway and the precursors. For a brief moment, she sensed something vast and distant. Other gateways, other sentinels, other guardians standing watch against cosmic horrors. The precursors had passed their torch to humanity. And somewhere in the vast darkness between galaxies, Maya knew new sentinels were being born, vessels of impossible design, forged from human and precursor technology, ready to stand watch against threats yet unknown. Humanity's war had ended. Its vigil had just begun.